curious about it. It's never. I mean, it's in my head 24/7. There's nothing else I can do. I don't think about nothing else. If that's it, I'm just curiously fascinated with it, and I can't stop thinking about it. Everything I do in my life is is related to this. I don't do nothing else if it's not got to do with fighting. You know what I mean? And that is why. You know what I mean? To be truly good at something, all you've got to do is show up.
Is that not unhealthy?
Um, I don't know. Do I look unhealthy? Take a look at this physique. I'm in phenomenal shape in body and mind. To me, what's unhealthy is living an unhealthy life. To me, what's unhealthy is getting up and going through the same day every day of your life, 9 to 5, in an office or in a. I mean, that's unhealthy. That beats your mind. I don't work. I love what I do, and that's why I'm doing what I love. You know what I mean? That's why it's become a career for me because I love it. I love what I do. So I don't think it's unhealthy. I I, I feel good in my mind. I mean, it's my life. I'm enjoying the fruits of my hard work. Nobody works harder than me inside the octagon, outside the octagon. I am a workhorse. So I'm going to enjoy the benefits of this life. I'm going to get myself a big mansion in Las Vegas. I'm going to get the soft top cars. I'm going to bring my whole team out. I'm going to spoil them and give them this life. Big steaks that size. We're eating every single night each. We're eating good. We're living good. It's human nature. Some people will sit and take positivity from that. They will look at that and take inspiration and inspire. It will inspire them to go and push for that. Others will shell up and critique it and be negative towards it. But one thing is for sure, those people will stay where they are. The people who take inspiration from it will rise up and also one day experience that life. So this is human nature. Some go one way, some go the other way. But I am enjoying my money, my hard-earned money that I have dedicated my life to. I was always getting pestered. What are you doing with your life? You doing this, doing that? They didn't know what it was. They didn't know what MMA was. They didn't know what none of this. They didn't know I could make a career out of it. As far as they were concerned, my man, I'm talking about. As far as they were concerned, I was just getting into a cage and fighting some other guy. They didn't know nothing about it. No one did really, but I knew. You know what I mean? I knew. But and then I ended up getting a trade just to keep them quiet because I used to have a lot of fights with me dad. A lot of
What
fights.
trade did you get?
I ended up getting a trade as a plumber. Um, Literally up in the back arse of nowhere up in Wicklow, the Wicklow Mountains. And funny enough, that site was one of the biggest sites in Europe. Kiltiernan was right at that skiing place. Huge, and now it's just abandoned. Now it's just deserted. So I used to go up there 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. I was on that M50. I used to have to walk to the N4 about half an hour from my house, wait for some Limerick guy that need drive on the M4, and I had to flag him down. Nightmare, yeah. 2 hours down on the M50, 2 hours back. Literally 14-hour days, and I was the first year, so I had to go and do everything. I had to go to the shop. I had to go and get this and get that. So I always had trouble with that, and I was like, this isn't for me. This is not for me.
How long did you last?
I lasted 18 months doing it. But it was tough, you know. Just it wasn't a life for me, you know. And then John said, because I was training with John as well at the time, and then John got in touch and says, I have a show. I'm running a show. I'd like to fight on it. And then that was it. I just packed it in. Didn't show up. My dad used to come in and punch the head out of me and like try and drag me out of bed, and I just wouldn't go. You know what I mean? I had an uproar for a good few years with him over it. And that was it. I just packed it in, quit, and then focused on training. That's I knew what was going to happen. I knew I was going to get here. They didn't. There's a lot of stressful years. You know what I mean, a lot of tough times. But I proved them wrong. I proved myself right. I cannot put one thing on it, John. I just love this life that I have created. I love this business. I do not. I enjoy work. I don't want to be anywhere else but here. So every day I am enjoying myself. I wake up every day. I pinch myself. You want to see the room I'm sleeping in. You want to see the bed I'm sleeping in. You want to see the home that I'm living in. There's an elevator in the home. So I'm on the third floor and I go out, click the button, and it goes from the third floor to the first floor. I open up the elevator and I go and eat some breakfast, and then we go stretch out in the sun, and we have a big pool, a jacuzzi. Look, I'm just enjoying the fruits of my hard work. Gratitude is one of the most strongest forms of power in attracting good things. You know, if you truly feel grateful for the things in your life, I always felt grateful for even the small things. I always used to celebrate the small things. Now I might be celebrating the bigger things, but I always celebrate every little good thing that would happen to me in my life, even before I had any kind of money or any of that. I would celebrate and I would feel grateful for it, and it just gave me more. And this is exactly the same thing that's happening right now. I still remain grateful, and more comes.
Somebody said to you, you'll have or you'll be as successful as you are now, what would you have said back then?
I believe you. That's what I would have said. Because I did believe.
Yeah,
I believed in it. I had very few people who told me that. I had a small group of people that would tell me something like that. Other than that, it was just me telling myself.
Yep.
So if someone came up to me and told me that all the way back then, I'd say you're damn right.
I don't know how you do it. You seem immune to pressure. You got an entire nation on your shoulders, and you rise above it once again.
Yeah, I don't just knock them out. I picked around, John. Yeah, I said this. I'm sure you're probably all thinking in your head, this guy is talking absolute dribble. He's not going to do what he says he's going to do. You're probably all sitting there thinking that. But now here we are again. And I done what I said I was going to do. I feed off this. I feed off this. I love this stuff. This is what gives me energy. Saying I'm going to do something. Saying, putting it out there for the world to see, and then going out and doing it. There's no better feeling in the world than that. And it's as easy as that. Say what you're going to do and go and do it. When you're chasing your dream and when you're working hard, chasing something you love um and completely dedicated, it just happens. You can't really notice it. Even still to this day, I'm in an amazing position in my life, but I'm still working like I'm not. I'm still working like I'm not in this position.
Absolutely.
I'm still working like none of this is even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just something I love to do, and I just keep pushing. I keep working hard. I can't pinpoint an exact moment for you, but
Yep.
if anything, I always felt like it was happening way back then.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the call. Hopefully, y'all are feeling amazing. Thank you so much for being here. And this is our 282nd podcast video. I think we're live on YouTube. We should be live on YouTube. I'm going to go over there and check real quick, but we should be live on YouTube. Obviously, here on Zoom. But I'm just double checking. Yep, we are. We are live. We are live on YouTube. Shout out to my YouTube family. All right. Shout out to my YouTube family, man. Love y'all, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for tapping in. Thank y'all for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here. And with that being said, that's extremely beautiful. And I'm very grateful. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that I got up my YouTube video just so I can interact with the audience over there. And before we get started, couple of announcements, okay? If you all are not familiar with our Discord community, I truly would highly recommend that you get familiar with it, right? Check out our Discord community. We're giving 3 days away for free, and we have 2 sides that we have been launching for the Discord community. We have one that is $19 a month, another one that's $49 a month, right? The $19 a month one is your crypto community, right? This one is going to be foundationally for crypto. This is one of the best groups you can be in. We have multiple calls a week, that we go over information, trading, different things like that. Now, one thing that's different moving into this final phase of the year and going into 2026 is we are relaunching, right? We're relaunching our Discord community. And so the fact that we are relaunching our Discord community, we'll have 2 different price points. Like I said, the $49 price point, okay, is going to be, it's going to come with trading. Okay, that's the difference. So if you want the trading education, you want to get on the trades, you want to start getting our signals and things like that on trades that we're trading. We're not just trading crypto. Actually, right now, we have investors that are coming in that trade indices, that trade commodities, futures. We're really looking to build a world-class company. So if you also feel like you have what it takes to help us build what we're building here at Coffee and Crypto, you can always reach out to us very simply. You can reach out to us in our email, our DM, right? Our email should be in the bio, but if you don't have it, it's coffeeandcryptopodcast@gmail.com. So make sure you reach out to us and let us know if you think you have what it takes to help us here to build what we are building. And beyond that, if you're interested in becoming a member, this is a great time to do it. We are just now hit July 1st, and we all know, in my opinion, I'm calling it right now. I think that we will see the crypto market start to run by the 4th week of July going into August. And then from there on out, it's up, right? It's up and it's stuck. So if you've been investing in crypto for a while, or you're interested in getting in crypto, we have one more boot camp that's coming up in July. We are finishing up our final boot camp next week for this current 5th cohort, and we'll start cohort 6 here in July. I'll have more information coming up very soon on that. And to let you all know, this particular one will be live in person in Atlanta. Okay, it'll still be available for people to tune in on Zoom, but something that we're going to do differently is we're not just going to have a Zoom audience this time, but we're going to have a live audience. I already have the venue. All the information will be coming out, like I said, within this week. And if you are in the Atlanta area, or you want to come to the Atlanta area, I would say in the Atlanta area, because 6 weeks or 5 weeks, or however how long we decide to do it, it's going to be, to me, it's kind of that's a lot to come back and forth to Atlanta, right? So, but for local people that want to be a part of this next boot camp in person, it's because when we do it in person, it's no telling who I can invite. It's different people that we can reach out to and invite that are in the city of Atlanta that we could put together. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. All right. So let's get to it. Okay. And yeah, look, and another thing, all right, last thing, if you haven't done the boot camp in a while, I'm not gonna lie, right? I'm not gonna lie. You probably want to do it. If you haven't done the boot camp in a while, you may want to make the investment. We are moving into the bull run. You don't want to cheat yourself in this process. Okay. If you all are interested in our 6-week mentorship, our 6-week boot camp, which is the best way, if I may say, it's the best way for me to be able to coach and teach somebody from start to finish. You can text me at 678-460-6504. Again, you don't have to be in Atlanta for this next boot camp, but if you're in Atlanta, our goal is to do it in person. And if we fall short of that, obviously, it's still going to be online, right? But again, you could text me the word boot camp to 678-460-6504. And y'all know how I do it. Anytime we're starting pre-sales on tickets, there's going to be a discount associated. This time, because we have a lot more structure in our boot camp and I have other coaches now, we only have 10 spots available for this upcoming boot camp before the prices will go up. We won't talk about the price on here, but if you are interested and you want to at least know the price, you want to inquire about the price, there is a nice discount for acting early on our boot camp, and just go ahead and get registered and putting your deposit in bare minimum. Again, you can text me boot camp to 678-460-6504, 678-460-6504. Okay. So I think I got all of our announcements out the way. And I want to first, today's call is entitled, okay, today's call is entitled, "The New Wall Street Includes Us All. However, most will miss it." Okay. The new Wall Street includes us all. However, most people will miss this opportunity. Okay. So don't be the person that misses this opportunity. And it could be as simple as not doing a boot camp, because I promise you, if you really sat down and took the boot camp serious, that would change your life within itself. Okay. We've been doing this for years and years and years. Okay. So let's talk about the first topic, which is on my mind, right? And It's about Tether, right? And it's about how Tether has been propping up Bitcoin for a very long time, right? And no one wants to talk about it, but Tether to me is a black swan event, you know. So for 5 years, right, we've been warning you about Tether, not because it's a conspiracy, but because it's convenient. You know, it's not convenient, excuse me, and because it represents one of the largest, most ignored, right, financial risk in both the crypto world and the broader monetary system. You want to talk about a Lehman Brothers type of thing, you know, that's going to potentially happen. Our next FTX, model, it could potentially be Tether. But the issue with Tether is this, y'all, is that most, and I've talked about this, but most digital assets, cryptocurrencies, have a pegging to Tether. So, Tether isn't just a stable coin, it's a shadow bank functioning outside of the traditional financial oversight, meaning that they get to print billions of synthetic dollars, family, right, to fuel an ecosystem. So when they fuel this ecosystem and it's built entirely on speculative leverage, it's propping up exchanges, right? It's enabling wash trading. It is sustained liquidity for countless projects with no intrinsic value, right? And you got to understand it has no intrinsic demand either. And yet no mainstream outlet, regulator, or exchange has been willing to challenge this, but they challenged Ripple, right? So Tether claims to be backed 1-to-1 by reserves, yet for years, those were held in unverifiable offshore accounts. I don't know how sketchy that is, but to me, that's pretty sketchy, right? And the deeper issue isn't just about crypto when it comes to Tether, our stable coin, right? It's about how Tether has exposed a financial system so desperate for offshore liquidity, so intertwined with dark capital flows and nefarious tactics that it allowed them to operate in plain sight. Banks, knowingly or not, played along. Banking partners, some in the shadows, facilitated fiat on and off ramps for Tether, benefiting from the flows without asking the hard questions, which is why. Because the profit was so good and the growth of the crypto market served to many aligned interests. This is very similar to Bernie Madoff, okay, and the scheme that took place. The biggest now here's the biggest issue with them allowing Tether to collapse, right? Because you have an entire industry, an entire brand new market that's built on this, right? That's built on this artificially inflated synthetic liquidity, right? And if this message comes out, it will be a day of reckoning. You got to understand that the media will call it a crypto failure, but it's more than just that. It's a banking failure, a regulatory failure, a controlled demolition of trust designed not to protect consumers, but to steal from them and wipe out all decentralized competitors, right? This is huge news. And I wanted to, number one, take the time to talk about this in the beginning because we're starting to see the Genius Act, right? We have the Genius Act that has been rolled out. And this Genius Act, y'all, is an extremely important marker, right? I would say for the digital asset and cryptocurrency space, right? Y'all, if you're not ready in this bull run, to me, there's going to be, you're going to regret it a lot. If you're not ready in this bull run, I believe that this is one of our final opportunities to get it right. Again, and I'm not here to sell y'all on it because I really don't need to in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Financially speaking, my life's going to be different anyway, right? So I don't really need your money. But what you need is you need the right information. And we have it here at Coffee and Crypto. So I would highly advise that if you have not taken the boot camp, I don't care if you've been with me for a long time. That ish don't matter to me, y'all. I'm just going to keep it a buck with y'all. That don't matter. Every single person should take the boot camp in 2025. You should challenge yourself to take a boot camp in 2025. Why not? What more can you lose? You know what I mean? And there's a lot of stuff that I just can't share that I can share better inside of the boot camp because it's more structured, right? I can't share everything on a Discord. I can't share everything on a podcast episode. It's impossible. So if you really think about the amount of value you get that's unorganized, think about all the organized value that you will get inside of our boot camp. Again, we're doing a major discount for the first 10 people that reach out. We've already had one today, so I appreciate you for texting me, but you can text me the word boot camp to 678-460-6504. Again, that number 678-460-6504. And just to be honest with y'all, after these discounts is over with, our price for this boot camp will be $2,000 because we're getting way too close. We've done too many for, just low prices. So I would highly recommend that if you're interested in the boot camp, if you've never done the boot camp, again, you guys can connect with me that way. Okay. But with that being said, I'm going to dive into coin market cap. And I wanted to take a quick look at the current crypto market. We are still sitting at a $3.28 trillion market cap. We have $107,000 Bitcoin right now. And the biggest question that most people are trying to figure out is where does Bitcoin go from here? That should be the biggest question. Where does Bitcoin go from here? Where does Bitcoin go from here, right? Do we see it explode above 111,000 or whatever that all-time high was? Or do we see this thing go ahead and drop back down for one more significant pullback? Historically speaking, I think the bottom for Bitcoin already was in. And let's take a look at that real quick together. But I believe that the bottom for Bitcoin already hit. And I believe that that bottom was in April, right? If y'all take a look, that bottom was right in April. Ever since April, y'all, we've been on this slight uptrend. Now we're getting a small flag pattern, right? This is nothing but a flag pattern. And we're getting this consolidation between this potential small downtrend, right? It's still a downtrend, but it's not a significant downtrend, meaning it's a flag, right? Just a flag, which is typically a continuation pattern. I've showed y'all time and time again how the flag pattern is a continuation pattern. And a lot of the time we have been correct, right? And here's one of the times that we are correct, right? Let's mark them off. Here's one of the times, right? There's your flag pole. Okay. Here's your flag. There's your flag right there, right? I could put another one here if y'all would like me to, no problem. Boom. Okay. Hold on one second. Let me take off this. Okay. Okay. So if y'all pay attention, what do we have here? Back in January of 2024, right? We saw Bitcoin shoot up from 39,000-ish to 74,000. It pulled back to the $49,000 area, which was nothing but, if I bring this line over, y'all can see it better, but it was nothing but a breakout and a retest and a continuation. But that flag plus this retest was your marker to take a buy on Bitcoin, right? But the same thing you see, this is nothing but a continuation flag pattern. Same thing we saw right here. Let's draw it out again, right? We had a flag, we had a boom, we had the pole. Look, they ain't got to be perfect, but look at that right there. What was this? This was nothing but a breakout and a retest from the resistance level at $74,000, right? So what do y'all think we see right now? Well, we got from 74,000, we had another flagpole. Look what we got now. We got the same type of pullback. Sometimes the pullbacks can get pretty deep. That's why I said you cannot measure the pullback necessarily, because Bitcoin does what it wants to do, right? It's not it's not up to us to decide where we want to see the pullback go. So all we can do is just stay in the game. I've tried to give y'all some areas before, tried to give y'all some numbers before. But again, y'all, we've seen these things time and time again. What do we see, y'all? We see the flag, we see that pullback, we see the pullback in the flag pattern. We see a breakout and we saw a retest each and every single time. And that's what we see right here. A breakout, a retest, a flag. And then what did we see after that? We saw to the moon, right? So but so we'll see what happens, y'all. Only thing that concerns me is this is the all-time high, and Bitcoin is making this flag right at the all-time high, which could just be terms of momentum changing. You know, it hasn't hit this level enough times for us to say, oh yeah, it's for surely time to break, you know, these levels. So there's a lot of things to take into account. Okay, but I want to make sure that, you know, moving forward these next couple of weeks, you all have everything needed. Okay, you guys have you know, you all have everything that you need to take full advantage of this opportunity. Okay, now let's continue to push forward. So I want to play this quick video from 1984. This was a Nobel economist, F.A. Hayek, and he called for the decentralization of money. This was way back in 1984, and I thought that this was interesting with, you know, what's happening today.
The great trouble is,
Hold on, let me replay this.
the great trouble is the money wasn't allowed to develop further. After 200 or 300 years of coins, all governments put their hands and stopped any further developments. We were not allowed to experiment on it. Money hasn't been improved. Money has rather become worse in the course of time. Government said it must not develop any further. And what we have had since in development are matters of government inventions, mostly wrong, mostly abuses of money. And I have come to the position of asking, has monetary policy ever done any good? I don't think it has. I think it has done only harm. And that's why I'm now pleading for what I've called denationalization of money. I don't believe that we should ever have a good money again before we take the thing out of the hands of government, because we can't take them violently out of the hands of government. All we can do is, by some sly roundabout way, introduce something they can't stop.
All we can do is buy some sly around about way introduce something they can't stop. Frederick Hayek. So he talked about this back in 1984, you know, with his vision. Okay. Now, if we move forward, let's talk about how that vision has come to light.
Why do I hold XRP? Because Ripple's the chosen one to lead the new global digital payment system, and they use XRP. In 2013, the Federal Reserve began looking for faster payments options. 2 years later, an action plan was born and a federal payments task force was created. It included one company focused on crypto, Ripple. In 2014, the World Bank and Better Than Cash Alliance, which includes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, and the governments of 32 countries, put out a report called The Opportunities of Digitizing Payments. 1 year later, the Better Than Cash Alliance featured one crypto company on their website, Ripple. Today, Better Than Cash Alliance and all other UN initiatives are focused on a single agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. You can see the SDGs logo on Bill Gates' lapel, world-leading companies, the Better Than Cash Alliance website, and on the UN's official exchange, Exchange. What crypto is Exchange officially utilizing for their carbon credit solution? XRP. The world will move to a new international standard for exchanging electronic messages between financial institutions by 2025 called ISO 20022. Who was the first ISO 20022 member focused on distributed ledger technology? Ripple. Who's partnered with over 300 financial institutions, including Bank of America, American Express, PNC, Santander, SBI, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of England, India, Singapore, Scotland, Australia, and Indonesia, the largest banks in Japan, Canada, Egypt, the Middle East, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Morocco, Bhutan, South Korea, Brazil, and Latin America? Ripple. Who is a former employee overseeing the Federal Reserve? Ripple. A former employee overseeing the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock's digital asset division? Ripple, leading Australia's CBDC effort. Ripple, who hired a former Treasury of the United States. Ripple, 2 former Federal Reserve attorneys to their board. Ripple, 2 former Clinton and Obama advisors, former Minister of Defense and Economics of Germany, former business director at Swift, former Swift board member, former CFO of PayPal, former head of the DTCC, former chief business officer at Uber, former VP of Amazon, and former SEC chair on their legal team. Ripple, who's a member of the Digital Pound Foundation, Digital Dollar Project, Digital Euro Association, Mojaloop, IMF's high-level advisory board on fintech, Hyperledger Blockchain Consortium, Open Payments Coalition, Faster Payments Council, Global Payments Steering Group, Cross-Border Working Group, International Association for Trusted Blockchain Applications, Crypto Climate Accord, University Blockchain Initiative, World Wide Web Consortium, and a featured partner of the World Economic Forum with 3 members of their team directly listed on the WF website. Ripple. Now, does Ripple and XRP sound like they're going to disappear, or do they sound like they're part of a much bigger plan? You decide.
Okay. You decide. You do, they say, you do the maths. Right? You do the maths on that. You do the maths. Okay. So let's continue to push forward. So there's a lot of things that are happening in the space. Something here in Atlanta that I wanted to share with you all was the CEO. I wanted to share his story. The CEO of the Atlanta Blockchain Center here in Atlanta, you know, and I actually had the opportunity to sit down. There goes Joe. Y'all remember we interviewed Joe. You know, there goes Chris right there. We've interviewed Chris before. We've talked to Marlon, right? Marlon, this is the CEO. Now, he thought an employee stole crypto. The FBI says it was a North Korean scammer, right? At first, Pimba Sherpa seemed like a great employee, eager to work. He began as a 35 an hour coder who sharpened up an app for his boss, Marlon Williams. Okay, I can't get the whole story because I don't have the Wall Street Journal paid, but I will go and get y'all the whole story. I'm not gonna tell y'all kind of what happened, but here's the video to go with it.
Now to a fraud scheme being compared to something from a James Bond movie involving big money and a threat to national security. It's a scam straight out of the movies.
It's like living in a spy movie, you know, like something out of James Bond, man.
But it wasn't 007 fighting bad guys overseas.
She changed the access codes.
Instead, 4 North Korean agents are accused of pretending to be IT workers here in the U.S. so they could infiltrate American companies and steal money to fund North Korean weapons programs.
They were doing a great job until October that year, where there was $30,000 missing.
The suspects allegedly used stolen IDs to get jobs as remote IT workers in what the FBI says was a North Korean government operation to defraud companies all over the world. One victim was Atlanta-based tech entrepreneur Marlon Williams. He says the suspects spent months earning his trust.
March of 2022 is when they executed what I call the big hack, close to 800,000, and then wiped all their chats, all the history that we had.
The suspects manipulating digital contracts and shuffling funds to cover their tracks. The FBI now offering a $5 million reward for information leading to the team's arrest, while warning that potentially hundreds of phony IT workers may still be inside U.S. companies. More than $1 million in cryptocurrency was stolen from that victim in Georgia. The case raising concern about how companies screen their remote workers.
All right, CEOs, business owners, they're looking for remote workers. We have to be safe and careful about this too, you know. Over $1 million stole from my friend Marlon Williams, you know. Very unfortunate, very unfortunate event, right? And it's to show. I mean, Marlon is a real developer, you know. He is a real builder in this space. He's been in crypto since 2010, 2011, right? He's one of the people I know that's been in the space for the longest and been through all of the cycles. He's been through every cycle. And for him to get this far down the road and this happens, you know, it shows that even the best even people that's been in this space for a long time are not safe. And this is the value of the boot camp. Because if you don't understand these wallets, if you don't at least, I'm not saying I understand everything, but I can help you get there, right? If you don't even have that foundation, how do you think that you're way more susceptible to getting prone to getting a hack than a Marlon Williams? Because you got to realize where he is as a Web3 CEO, right? Versus where you are, right? As I'm learning about this space for the first time, or the first month, or the first year of my life. That might be where you are, or the fourth year. It doesn't matter. My 7 years now is all goes down the drain because guess what? I'm not you know, immune. I'm not immune. The same way nobody is immune. This is why we offer these boot camps. This is why we do these things so that you don't have to go through the same problems that other people went through, but you can learn from other people's problems. Okay. Again, if you all are interested in our boot camp, I would love to have you all. Okay. We'll be doing it live here in Atlanta. Okay. And it will still be live on Zoom on those same days. Now, let's jump over to another headline. Okay. Circle applies for the U.S. Trust Bank license after bumper IPO, right? So what does this mean, right? Well, they're applying to create a national trust bank, right? A national trust bank in the U.S., a major move after its blockbuster IPO valued the company at nearly $18 billion earlier this month. If the charter is granted by the U.S. Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, it would enable Circle to act as a custodian for its own reserves and hold crypto assets on behalf of institutional clients. Unlike traditional banks, the license would not allow Circle to take cash deposits or to make loans. Okay. Circle has long sought to seek the highest standards of trust, transparency, governance, compliance. Becoming a publicly traded company is a significant part of that. Becoming a national trust company is, again, a continuation of that. Circle's national trust bank entity would be called First National Digital Currency Bank. Crypto platform Anchorage Digital is currently the only digital asset company with a national trust bank charter. Circle issues, talks about their dollar USD stablecoin, which we know. The move from Circle comes as Congress gets closer to passing the bill that we talked about, right? The Genius Act. And this is huge news. And this is the official, article which came out yesterday directly on Circle's website. So they are going through this based on the Genius Act. Why do you think all this is happening now? The Genius Act gets passed. You don't think Circle's going to get the application to become a national trust charter bank? It's 1000% going to get the opportunity to become a national trust chartered bank. Okay, so I just want you all to understand that this strengthens the USDC infrastructure. So this is even more reason why, again, you should do the boot camp, because we have a DeFi section in there where Mr. John Jackson leads our DeFi section. And, you're going to need to understand these types of stablecoin infrastructures to be able to take advantage of some levels and some layers of DeFi, right? Because when it comes to the reason why they're moving on stablecoins first, is simply because it doesn't have the same level of volatility, right? It doesn't have the same level of volatility that, Bitcoin has and other of the altcoins. Okay. So let's wish Circle nothing but success. Let's wish them nothing but success on this journey as this helps bring cryptocurrency more and more into the mainstream. Okay. Now, another thing that I want to play, because again, y'all, we're dealing with real world utility use case, non-corrupt technologies that we know of. Can't say 100%, but then we're dealing with, again, we're dealing with MicroStrategy and Bitcoin and you know the Bitcoin mafia, the PayPal mafia, and you know, so MicroStrategy president and CEO, okay, Phong Lee, okay, has sold the majority of his MicroStrategy stock over the last 3 months. I wonder if that means anything. So let's go and take a look at this right here. Okay. Okay, there it is right here. This is the United States SEC Commission Form 4 Statement of Changes in the Beneficial Ownership. Okay. So name, you see Lee Fong, issuer, MicroStrategy. He's the president and CEO. And let's see right here. Securities acquired 8,400. Okay. Amount of securities beneficial owned following reported transaction 16,390. 16,390. So this right here shows, let's see here. This is the transaction day. This is what was disposed of or acquired. So, and it is D, so that means disposed. 8,400 shares disposed of. Okay. At the time before, it was 16,390. So, so half. Okay. He definitely did half. So that, you know, again, you have to think about why that happened. Okay. And you know, people are now asking Saylor, you know, why the director dumped 70%, or I guess that was 70, but 70% of his MicroStrategy. And that total amount, if we take a look right here, this is the director. Okay, so we have the CEO, and now you have the director of MicroStrategy, which everything, again, y'all, is visible to look at. He traded right here 26,000, and then right here he did another 980, all amounting to over 9 mil, really over 10 million, because there's another 371,000. So over $10 million he liquidated from the market, right? Maybe he wants to buy the pullback later on, right? Who knows? But all I know is he got out of this thing with a cool little $10 million. That ain't too shabby. So let's listen to this quick interview right here. You know, from Laura Shin and Michael Saylor. Enjoy.
Plan to hodl through all the cycles, you know, and weather those, you know, whatever 80% downturns when the crypto markets are in a bear market.
Yeah, again, I just disagree with your characterization. I don't expect an 80% downturn. I don't think it's a speculative asset, and I don't think you can quote unquote take money off the table. You know, you're speaking like a crypto trader right now, right? Yeah, I mean, maybe you're doing it just to represent their interest, but I don't see the world that way. I think that Bitcoin is sound money. It's the technically superior asset class compared to the dollar, the euro, the peso, the bolivar, compared to a stock index, compared to gold, compared to silver, compared to everything you can conceivably buy. It is technically, thermodynamically superior as an asset. So when you say things like that to me, and maybe you just do it just to see what I'll say back, I just imagine you preaching to me in Argentina while you're asking me if I'm going to sell the dollars and buy pesos back again as the peso sleeps from 20 to the dollar to 40 to the dollar to 80 to the dollar. Or if we're in, you know, Venezuela. I mean, you think a Venezuelan company is going to, like, quote unquote, take some money off the table by selling their US stocks and their US dollars to buy back into local currencies? Or then, you know, in Zimbabwe, you think they would take money off the table, right? Like, the point is, if you have the superior asset, it's going up forever, Laura. Forever.
Right.
All right. So that's what Michael Saylor says is going up forever. You know, we'll see about that. But I wanted to play this last video before we end today. This video is, you know, from the Stronghold community, SHX. Shout out to all of our SHX holders out there, Stronghold. They've done something that is very similar to what Ripple the XRP ledger did. Sorry, y'all. They did something specific to what Ripple and the XRP ledger did, and they've created an escrow type of thing. Right now, XRP did it first, Ripple did it first, but now you see other companies that are similar coming out and doing the exact same thing. So I'm going to play this video because after this video, you should be able to see just how powerful that investment in Stronghold really could potentially be in the next couple of months.
We just made a commitment.
Hold on, sorry, I don't know why it always turns green, but let me start over.
We just made a commitment that most crypto projects talk about, but rarely follow through on. We locked 60 billion SHX in a completely immutable smart contract. Just code that automatically manages our token supply for the next 5 years and rolling into the years thereafter, whether we like the market conditions or not. I'm Tammy Camp, CEO of Stronghold, and this is your insider's guide to the future of transparent finance. Today, I want to walk you through the most significant commitment in Stronghold's history, a 60 billion SHX escrow system that fundamentally changes how responsible token treasury management should work. Here's exactly what we deployed. An escrow smart contract alongside 60 individual accounts on Stellar's smart contract platform, Soroban. Each account locks exactly 1 billion SHX and expires on the 15th of every month for the next 5 years. This creates what we call a rolling escrow ladder, a system that ensures long-term supply discipline while still providing measured token availability. We've locked our commitments into code that we literally cannot override. The market now knows exactly how much SHX becomes available and when. This is what accountability looks like when you build it into the system itself. Every aspect of this escrow system is completely transparent and trackable in real time on the blockchain. Anyone can verify our commitments, track our progress, and hold us accountable to what we've built. This is the kind of transparency that traditional finance talks about, but rarely delivers. This escrow system sends a clear message. Stronghold is building for decades, not quarters. By locking 60 billion SHX under an immutable schedule, we're proving that our vision for the future centers on sustainable infrastructure. The full 60 billion SHX is now locked, and our first monthly release is scheduled for the 15th. We're building a public dashboard so anyone can track every aspect of this system in real time. At Stronghold, we believe that trust in finance should come from building systems that enforce what you promise. This 60 billion SHX escrow is our commitment encoded in a smart contract, operating for the next 5 years, whether it's convenient for us or not. Because the future of finance isn't built on promises. It's built on proof. If you want to track our escrow system in real time, the smart contract address is public on Stellar Expert. Subscribe for more insights on how we're building transparent financial infrastructure from the ground up.
That was Stronghold. So let's talk about Stronghold a little bit, okay? Sitting at a penny right now. Okay, it's only a penny. There's 99 billion. There's 100 billion max supply tokens. So they've took 60% of their max supply because they have 100 billion. They take 60 billion. They took 60% of it and locked everything in escrow. And they're going to unlock 1 billion tokens. 60 times. It's going to be crazy, right? Watching this type of stuff happen. Now you're probably like, well, what's the importance of this? What does this have, anything to do with? Well, number one, the reported market cap here on CoinMarketCap for Stronghold is $65 million. That's it. Not even 10% of $1 billion, right? We're at $65 million market cap. Now, who is Stronghold? And Vincent, why is this so important? Well, I'm gonna leave y'all with this real quick. So, number one, ISO 20022 goes in effect in USA when? Okay, what's the date, y'all? What's the final date? Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look. So, okay, let's look. So the Fedwire Fund Service in the USA adopting the ISO 20022 standard on July 14th, 2025. It was rescheduled from March 10th. Okay, cool. So hold on. I ain't done with y'all. Hold on. 1 second. 1 second. Oh, wow. Oh, so hold on, wait. So the first day they're going to unlock 1 billion tokens out of the escrow is on July the what? 15th, which is the day after July the 14th. Why? Because they go live. Fedwire Fund Service goes live in the USA July 14th. So I want y'all to, number one, remember that. And we can go over to the Federal Reserve website and we can go ahead and take a look at that real quick. ISO 20022 implementation was scheduled July 14th. Okay. So this means that they must start taking action now. Okay. It's about to go down. It's about to go down. Now, check this out. Strong hold. Let's just jump straight into it real quick, man. Let's see if there's anything here. I don't see, there's nothing there directly, right? I typed in essay checks. Okay, nothing directly that I can pull up right there. That's okay, because watch this right here. Strong hold and the faster payments system. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of things. Okay, number one, okay, do y'all know who the Nacha? If y'all don't know who Nacha is, okay, let's go over here real quick. Okay, so Nacha, okay, Nacha. This company is called Nacha. We've went over this before, but let's go and look at their direct. Yeah, let's look at their direct membership list. I want y'all to just see who's on here. Has anybody ever seen any of these names before? I mean, anybody ever seen American Express, Bank of America, BNY, right? Citibank, Capital One, right? All those right there. US Bank, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan. Huh. Okay. Huh. Okay. So that was the first thing that I wanted y'all to see. Okay. It was just, that was important to see. So number one, okay, this is the Nacha. Okay. So if you didn't know who they were, that's them. So they are one of the biggest organizations. Now, directly on their website, look at this, y'all. Stronghold, preferred partner for ACH experience and ISO 20022. When does ISO 20022 start? Well, look at that right there on the front page. ISO 20022 will be implemented July 14th for the Fedwire Funds Service. So, Vincent, well, why'd you say, that's going to be, all this stuff going on? Well, hey, you just have to wait and look. But look at this one more time. Fed now and strong hold. Let's see if there's anything based on that. Okay, let's see if we can find anything based on that. Okay, say Fed now services. Okay, look at this, Fed now services. Boom, boom, boom. Stronghold helps with ACH. Okay, it helps with ACH. And see who's currently live, right? Let's see who's live. Let's see if we can actually figure this out real quick. Participating financial institutions as of 6/25, settlement agents and liquidity providers, certified service providers. Okay, let's go with liquidity providers first and see what names they might have. Oh, this is a document we have to save and download. So this is this some top secret information right here, apparently. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull this up. Okay, let's go ahead and pull this up. And then the second one I'm going to also do let me see something real quick. Okay, I had it. I just had it, y'all. Let me find it real quick. I took the screenshot and I just had it and then I lost it. 2 seconds, 2 seconds. Where is it? Pretty weird. All right, let's see here. Recents. Oh, there it is. It's pulled up right now. Okay. So, first things first, we have liquidity providers. Okay. I'm looking to see if there's anything worth showing y'all on that list real quick. No, just a bunch of banks, trust banks, credit unions, things like that. Okay. So nothing in the blockchain space. So I don't want to take time to pull that up. Now, next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull up the certified service providers, Fed now certified service providers. This might be important. So let's pull that up right quick and see if we can get some information on that. Okay. And here we go. Let's see what companies they have. Oh my God. Hold on. Hold on. Where is it? All right. Well, I'm gonna share this with y'all. I'm gonna share this with y'all. All right, let me go ahead and share this screen right quick. Okay. This one's good. This one's good. Okay. We see some familiar names on here. Okay. We see, obviously banks and things like that. Finastra, who is a Ripple partner. We know Finastra is a Ripple partner. We also see it's a bunch of different companies on here, you know what I mean? We see Visa, we see Temenos, which is a Ripple partner. We see Volante, which is a Ripple partner. And if y'all don't believe me, watch this right here. Watch this. Let me go back over here real quick to my Brave browser real quick. Let's go to the Brave browser. And then what we're gonna pull up is we're gonna pull up just one of them. Let's go Temenos and Ripple. Okay, just so you know who's sitting. Now, this is a official service provider for FedNow, which is about to be integrated in the next 13 days. Okay. And let's see here if we can find some information on that. This is Temenos here. Okay, it talks about, let's see here. This is from 2020, highly available blockchain connectivity. If we control F on this document, I'm looking forward to just typing in Ripple, or I'm looking forward to type in XRP. And it talks about XRP one time. It's mentioned on the key features. Wow, key features of this Taurus Explorer, which is for this group right here out of Switzerland. Okay, you can see that XRP is listed right here. Okay, so that's the first thing that I wanted to show y'all. Okay. Next thing I wanted to show y'all was, okay, so Temenos and Ripple have a partnership focused on integrating blockchain into financial systems, specifically for international payments, right? So, and even right here from 2023, this is from Deloitte Digital, Temenos T24 Ripple integration demo. They've been demoing this stuff for years, y'all. And now we finally get to sit back, because I don't think there's another date that's going to be pushed back. I want to say congratulations to everybody that did what they had to do. July the 14th is going to be massively explosive, right? July 14th will be massively explosive, right? Massively explosive. And it's going to start in a couple of days on July 4th, right? I'm telling y'all right now, like, get in the boot camp. Get in the boot camp. It'll be worth it. Don't sit and think, oh, I know too much, because it's that moment where you don't know enough that will change your life in the worst way, right? I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I've seen it happen to a lot of people, and I don't want to see it happen to you all. So with that being said, this was our hour call. I want to say thank you all. Thank you so, so very much. I hope that you all are ready. If there's any Q&A, anybody that has anything they would like to say, something you like, learned, or loved from today's show, we'd love to hear from 1, 2 people before we get up out of here. And if you feel, if you're interested, feel free. You can come on up and raise your hands and, feel free to say anything that you would like to. I want to say thank you to our YouTube family. Again, y'all, if you're interested in working directly with me, it's only for a short more time, y'all. I probably, to be honest with y'all, probably gonna get to the point. I'm probably gonna get to the point, y'all, where I may not be as accessible and available for coaching anymore, because we've been doing this for a long time. And after this bull run, my focus is probably will be elsewhere on a lot of other things. If you would like access, we do start our next boot camp this month. Y'all saw the dates I gave y'all. It starts this month. 678-460-6504. You can text me the word boot camp to 678-460-6504. And I will have a discount for you all for the next 10 people. I mean, I will be going to Instagram and TikTok with this as well, which is typically where we make majority of our sales. So if you are directly connected to us here through the Discord or through our YouTube and you're first to hear it, please, please, please don't be last to make the move. So let me go ahead and call up Zatrick.
I just wanted to say, you can hear me?
Now we can, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man, great show today, my brother. The stronghold news is always nice, just because it's kind of one of those coins that you kind of forget about if you're not really looking at necessarily your wallet, because it's not on like your main wallet necessarily, or it's not on my main wallet, but it is cool just to see how they're implementing all these plans. And to be honest with you, bro, I am ready for this thing. I didn't know that the ISO was going live this month. I thought it was going live in November, but great news as long as lock my seatbelt up, go to the moon.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's live for US, for Federal Reserve. Every other country has their own go live dates. So yeah, every other country has their own go live dates. So it's it's like that. But look, y'all, that's all I got. I hope that y'all have an amazing day. And I will see y'all on the next call. We are getting closer to episode 300. And if you all, again, if you want to connect with me directly, okay, if you would like to connect with me directly, again, y'all, the best way to do that is either through private coaching, which we do offer. We are taking some students for our mastermind group. And if you all are, if you've been with me for a while, y'all, I want you to ask yourself a question. Why are you not challenging yourself to be in this mastermind group? Our first meeting for the mastermind group starts in July. This is completely separate from the boot camp. The boot camp is like super, entry level in my opinion, right? It's advanced, but it's entry level. The mastermind group, which right now we have about 6 people in that this month. The mastermind group is where it's at, right? If you're a business owner, you are a developer, you're interested in becoming one, want to, get into the Web3 space, you want to know how you can start a product up and, make sure that you IP it properly into the blockchain, leverage AI, all of these things. The mastermind group is where you want to be. This is our first time ever doing a mastermind group, and I've always wanted to do a mastermind group personally because I believe that there's power in mastermind groups. So that's why we created the mastermind group. So if you've been, truthfully, y'all, and I don't want to call y'all out by name, but if you've been with me for a while, you should be in the mastermind group. Like, because, you know, you don't want to stay surface level. So with that being said, hope y'all have an amazing day. Y'all can reach me at that phone number I gave you, and I will see y'all on the next episode. Peace and love.